Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through fears and live an awesome life. I'm going to give you the tools to manifest anything. I know you sit there and go, oh yay, and then you're going, this, really? If we had those abilities, why aren't we doing it? Because we don't believe it, and if you don't believe it, you don't receive it. You are not responsible for other people's thoughts, feelings, and actions. Have you ever had somebody say, you made me feel bad? No, you can't make anybody feel bad. And nobody can make you feel bad. You made me feel... No, they didn't. You did that. You did that. Why? We are all energy. So our energy is affecting one another greatly. We are also on a very dense level. And the more dense you are, the more that is allowed. You are allowing those things to affect you because you believe that this thing that you see in the mirror every day is who you are, and you think somehow it can be damaged. It can't, because you aren't this. This thing will dissolve and you are off into la-la land, space, amazing stuff. And this is gone. So how can you ever be damaged? You can't be. You are everything. So you are the very thing that's talking to you. You're the very energy that's negative. You're the very energy that's positive. But you as an individual energy field within the one, right? You're in the ocean. You're a drop in the ocean. You're still part of that, but you're in the ocean. So everything in the ocean affects you, right? But you cannot be affected by anything unless you choose it, because you have free will. No one has power over you. Now you could say, well, wait a second, I had this and that done, and what about the kids? You know, if I hear one more thing about the children that are abused, we're all one doing it. We're all part of that. We contribute toward that. We can contribute toward the end of that. And if all of us make choices, better choices toward ending that, it will end. What about the things that happen to you? We are always in charge of what we think and feel and how we act within that situation. So we are interacting with other energies. Absolutely, they are going to affect us because they are part of our energy field. We're one thing. However, we all choose this interaction, and our energies come together for a reason. If you need to need in a positive way, if you need a lesson to get to the next level of spirituality, then that desire, your spiritual higher self, that desire to break through certain limitations that you've created, will create a situation for you, a challenge for you to break through it. But we oppose it. Oh, it shouldn't be happening. Oh, I'm a victim. And oh, what about the people that hurt them? Yeah, what? Blah, blah, blah. Talk to the hand. Guess what? You're in charge of you and how you act. And from that, you contribute to the collective. And when you stop blaming and you actually realize you have no control over what somebody else does, they have the power to act, feel, think the way that they choose. Even if you did something nasty to them. Okay, forgive yourself. This was a challenge for them. Could they forgive you? Okay, can they get over hurt? Did they absorb that? Or did they realize you're just another student and you make mistakes too? So you're not responsible for somebody else's actions or thoughts. You're only responsible for your own. So if you are putting out negativity, you're responsible for that. Now, you're not responsible for the reaction that you get. And they don't have to absorb that. I mean, you can talk to me, you can say anything you want to me, you can't possibly hurt my feelings. How could you hurt my feelings? They're just, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. They can't. It's just your projection of something. It has no effect on me, and I don't have to believe what you do or think the way you think I should, right? We don't have to project our own feelings and thoughts and beliefs on somebody else. They are allowed to have their own. And when we sit and argue this, we argue it, then it becomes a struggle and a problem, and that's the ego having to be right. Instead of sharing opinions, I will share my thoughts. You can choose them or not. I'm not here to debate anything. I'm not here to argue. This is how it is. No, it's just how I believe it is. And if you don't want to believe it, you don't have to. There's no reason to ever oppose anybody else. Oppose nothing. Create the positive pathway. oh, the government's a way, blah. No, you're wasting energy on that. On lower densities, why are you wasting time on that stuff? Create the positive stuff. Put a positive candidate in place. You know, be the candidate that's in the higher place. And, you know, do you ever see the debates? They spend more time saying what's wrong with the other person than they do saying what they're going to do for the people. And that's a negative, way of presenting. I don't even listen to that stuff. I want to hear what you're going to do with your life and how you're going to change this world and what positive things you're going to do. Actually do them, right? And then if we rely on somebody else, shame on us. We are always in charge. And you are not in charge of how somebody acts or reacts to whatever you do. So, have you ever said anything to somebody and they took it completely the wrong way? And I am always amazed. I'm thinking, why would anybody ever think that I said anything negative to them? They don't know me. So, but I've had people on occasion, because they're very negative thinking people. They see the world as a negative place and other people as negative. So their first reaction, and we've all met people like this, their first reaction is that you said something, you meant something negative to them. So they're going to turn whatever you said around into whatever they need to make it fit into their negative thinking. You're not responsible for that. And all of a sudden, you don't need to defend yourself either. You know what you meant, and if you meant something positive, it needs to be corrected. Or say, oh, this is what I meant, or whatever. Or maybe that came off the wrong way, because they interpreted it that way. Then you correct it and you move on. You are not responsible for the rest of whatever they do with that. People will see the world the way that they want to, right? They're going to view it, and you sitting and arguing. Somebody was talking about what their aunt. This was a few months ago. The person that said their aunt always has something negative to say. You're not responsible. And why are you trying to change her mind? You're saying she's not okay. So you are then trying to correct her because you are the higher frequency, and I'm going to correct you because my way is better. You're absolutely in the same playing ground that she is. She's saying bad stuff, and you're correcting her saying that her bad stuff is bad. So do you get this? It's like all this opposition in this stuff is just cray-cray, all right? So you are not here to change everybody's mind. You're not responsible for their feelings, but you're responsible for yours, and they do not control yours. So if you say somebody made me sad, it's a load of crap. It is. They didn't make you do anything. You choose. You always choose. And when you're a higher frequency, you don't even go into that space. You're not even choosing those thoughts. So I've had people say, oh, don't get upset over them. I'm thinking, I'm not. They're projecting how they feel and think about certain circumstances. So they're assuming that you get upset about certain things. It's not even running through my mind. Like it wasn't even a blip on the radar screen. But people will always project on what they're feeling and thinking about the world, you, everything else. If they are the kind of people that get upset over certain things, they're going to assume that you do. Oh, yeah, don't worry about it. And they'll defend, I have people defend me on my channel. I'm like, you don't have to. I'm not offended at all. It's just, they're just the words. They come by and I look at them. Just, there's no going on here. Yeah, so this is awakening. Awakening is when you go into the higher state, still have a personality, you get to laugh and be cray-cray and do all this kind of stuff, right? You don't have to be like up in the mountains. You have to be in the real world to really test yourself. So you're up here, and so happy, sad. Happy, sad. But you never really feel it. It doesn't really hit you. It doesn't absorb like it does. Now, when you're in a lower frequency, you're going happy, sad, happy, sad. And you're doing this all the time. And of course, this always comes down, right? When you're on a higher frequency, you're awakened. You do not see the problems. You see others as blessed, beautiful beings that are working through their own spiritual journey. You're going to contribute what you can to this environment, to this whole collective. And so you're up here on a high frequency. You're always feeling really good. And you see the world positively. And you experience amazing things because the gateway's open. There are no obstacles up there. And you will experience fear, and you will experience sadness, and you'll experience loss. But it doesn't become like absorbed into your energy field. It's something you observe. You will feel it, but you don't react to it anymore. There's no anger. There's no anger. What's there to get angry about? When I see people get angry with each other, I'm like, what? Why? Why do you need to get angry with somebody? What's there? I don't get that. It makes no sense to me. Anger makes no sense to me. Hanging on to the past garbage makes no sense to me. Why are you torturing yourself? You're doing it. And if somebody else is doing it, you're not here to correct them. If they come to you for help, you absolutely be there for anybody who needs your help. And then, if they don't want to take it and you become an enabler, then you've got to catch on to that little game too. So being human's a very tricky thing. It really pushes us to the limits of things that we're really not. This is like the total opposite of what we truly are. And this is why we suffer so much, because it doesn't feel right. It never feels right. It never will feel right until you go in an awakened state. And even then it doesn't feel right, because you're still in a world that's very painful. Even though you're in an awakened state, you still have to experience things that are very unpleasant, that really should not be, because we don't have to live like this anymore. But, as I always say, everything's exactly the way it should be, because we're still working it out. But we want to end that. We do. We came here to end it and take ourselves to something really amazing. The entire cosmos could go to this awakened state that's amazing, but it's experiencing just crazy stuff. Whatever it could possibly be. And then when it's done with that, it goes on to something new. So I don't know about you, but I don't really need to be upset with anybody. I don't really need to go into that place where somebody's wrong, and I don't really need to be right. I just know what I believe and what I think, and I share what I can, because I think what I believe and what I'm sharing is pretty positive and could possibly help somebody and take them to a new level of living. You have to just let everything go. Let it go. But the conflict with others seems to be one of the biggest, let's just say, challenges, and one of the biggest obstacles for us to create an amazing life. The blame, all of it. The conflict, the boss, sit there all day with somebody going, wah. And I think that the bottom line is that sometimes you just need to remove yourself. You don't need to be around that. And the less that you are contributing toward that situation, like being in it, the more you reinforce it. So if that boss keeps losing good employees, somebody's going to catch on somewhere that the boss needs to go. So we have to make some responsible decisions. All right? You are not responsible for somebody else's feelings, and they are not for yours. You're totally in control. Start taking control. It doesn't feel good most of the time, does it? So why would you want to feel it? You choose your feelings. And where do the feelings come from? A thought. Where's the thought come from? A belief. A belief that something's not right, that you're wronged, that things shouldn't be the way they are, that you should have never had experience, that you've done something wrong, and it's all bull crap in your head that's made up. Change the story. Did you see my video? You can change your past. You can completely change your past. And when you do that, right now completely changes. Boom, you are now in a completely different reality, because you are no longer a victim. You no longer see yourself as somebody with disadvantages. You no longer see yourself as the story that somebody else told you. You completely shift into a completely new person, because now you see things as amazing. That you're a warrior, that you took on big challenges, and that you're going to do some things now and use that information to become something amazing. And now you completely not only change your past, because you don't see it the same way at all anymore. You're grateful, you're thankful, and right now you're exactly the way you're supposed to be and where you're supposed to be, so that you can create something amazing. So those people, anything they think or whatever doesn't have to affect you. You get to make that decision, and your reality will be formed around all of that. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. join me for a monthly webinar, and you can go to landriaonkka.com down there and look at my webinars and courses. And guess what? I have all kinds of discounts for people in my email list. 5 ways to manifest anything. You can go into that. That's free. And you get a discount, and I give a discount every month on my webinar, and I give a 25% discount on my Breakthrough Fear course and my other courses that are coming out. If you put Inspiration with Landria in a code when you take the Breakthrough Fear course, it's a 6-week course that you get access to for a year. 180 videos, tons of lessons, practices. We really dig deep, and you can have that for an entire year, and discounts on everything coming out. So you have no excuses. There are a lot of great teachers out there. There are a lot of great tools. Just keep practicing. That's all you can do. There's a lot of deprogramming we must do. We got to be on it every moment, because as soon as that negative thought comes in, boom, we got to switch over. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. That's from the Master Key System. I get better and better every day. My life becomes more beautiful, more abundant, more loving, and peaceful every single day. Thank you. Thank you. Namaste.